Hi, my loves. Welcome back. June's energy is not coming through soft. And honestly, this feels like one of those months where Spirit is asking us to pay attention to the cracks before they become impossible to ignore. Today, we're going to look at the overall energy of June 2026, what Spirit wants the collective to know, what we may need to prepare for, and where we're being asked to stay grounded, discerning, and honest with ourselves. As always, please remember that this reading is for spiritual insight, reflection, and entertainment purposes only. Everything shared here is spirit-led, alleged, and based on the energy coming through the cards. Remember, energy can shift, free will always plays a role, and I always want you to trust your intuition first. Take what resonates with your heart and leave anything that doesn't. And if you ever feel called to look more deeply into your own personal energy or questions, I offer private tarot and pendulum readings in my Etsy shop. You can find the link in the pinned comment and in the video description. Okay, loves, let's see what Spirit wants the collective to know, understand, and prepare for regarding the overall energy of June 2026. We receive the King of Pentacles reversed, Three of Cups reversed, the Tower upright, the Star reversed, and Six of Pentacles reversed. As I sit with these 5 cards, the first thing I feel is pressure in my chest, almost like that feeling when you know something is off, but you've been trying to talk yourself out of it because everyone around you keeps acting like you're supposed to stay calm. It doesn't feel like Spirit is coming in to scare us. It feels more like Spirit is saying, stop gaslighting your own intuition. You've been feeling the cracks for a reason. The King of Pentacles arrives first, and I want to really sit with this one because this is the doorway to the whole month. This card in this position isn't just about money. It's about the energy of security, authority, stability, and the people or structures that are supposed to be trustworthy. When the King of Pentacles is upright, it signifies someone who's built something solid. He protects what matters and knows how to manage resources and understands responsibility. He has earned the seat that he sits in because there is something real beneath him. But reversed, that throne still looks expensive, the title may still sound powerful, and the outer image may still say, I'm in control. But Spirit is showing cracks underneath the seat. And they're not small cracks. They're ones that have been there for a while, ones that people were encouraged not to look at too closely. This feels like the story of stability starting to separate from the reality of stability. It feels like regular people being told that things are fine while their bank account after paying basic necessities are all saying and showing otherwise. And this is where Spirit is pulling my attention. June feels like a month where people start realizing that some of what's been presented as secure was not actually secure. It was managed and dressed up, protected by language, image, money, status, or authority, but it was not rooted in the way that people were told it was rooted. This can be leadership, government, and corporate power. This can also be financial systems and institutions. But for some of us, it can also be personal, like a job that has looked stable, but has been draining the life out of you. A relationship where someone keeps acting like the provider, the protector, or the one in control, but their energy does not actually make you feel safe. It could also be a family structure where one person's ego has been mistaken for leadership, or a community where someone has been sitting in the king position, but what they're offering is control, not care. And Spirit says that June will expose the difference. The King of Pentacles reversed doesn't feel like an isolated issue. It feels like the first domino in the reading. It says, look at the foundation. Look at who's been holding the resources, who benefits from everyone believing the structure is stable. Look at who keeps asking for trust while giving very little actual proof of responsibility. And then the Three of Cups reverse comes in after it. And that tells me the instability doesn't stay at the top. It trickles down into the people, communities, friendships, alliances, and into the collective emotional field. The Three of Cups upright is people coming together. It signifies celebration, support, shared joy, emotional safety, and a feeling of, I'm not alone in this. But reversed, that energy gets strange. The room still has people in it, but the warmth is missing. The table is still full, but the trust is not. People may still be gathered, but the energy underneath feels very divided. This is where June starts to feel societally revealing, because Spirit is showing me people looking around and realizing, wait, we're not actually as united as we thought we were. And that will be painful for them, because sometimes we don't know what a connection is built on until pressure hits it. This card feels like alliances showing their fault lines. Friendships or communities that look supportive start to reveal that there was jealousy, performance, hidden resentment, fear, competition, or convenience underneath. People who were loud about being all for the collective will suddenly show that they were really for themselves when things get uncomfortable. And on a larger scale, this feels like public unity that does not feel real anymore. Leaders standing together while their energy is not together. Countries or groups making statements that sound aligned, while something underneath feels tense, strategic, or fragile. Or people being told, we're all in this together, while the lived experience is proving that not everyone is carrying the same weight. And that phrase keeps coming through. Not everyone is carrying the same weight. And for the collective, this can feel very lonely, even in a crowded world. People will be online more, talking more, commenting, debating, and reacting, but they're still going to feel less connected. It's that strange modern loneliness where there is noise everywhere, but very little true holding. We're going to see a lot of opinions, but not enough care. So much outrage, but not enough grounding. And a lot of people gathered around the fire, but some of them are only there to watch something burn. Spirit is asking you to pay attention to who becomes cruel when they're afraid, to who becomes selfish when resources feel tight. Pay attention who uses fear to gather people around them, and to who performs concern but doesn't actually protect anyone. The Three of Cups reversed is not telling us to distrust everyone. It's telling us not to confuse closeness with loyalty, noise with truth, or group energy with genuine community. And then the Tower lands in the center of the spread. And love, this is the card that changes the temperature in the room, because the Tower doesn't feel like a possibility sitting far away. It feels like the point of the reading, like Spirit is saying, this is why I showed you the Shaky King first, and why I showed you the fractured table second, because something that's been held together by image, denial, pressure, money, fear, or performance cannot hold that same shape forever. The Tower is the moment that the thing cracks loud enough for everybody to hear it. And what I'm feeling is not random chaos. It's not Spirit saying that everything falls apart. It feels more specific than that. Like something that was already unstable becomes visible in a way that cannot be smoothed over as easily. This could be a narrative breaking and a structure that gets shaken, a public image that slips. It could also be a decision that has consequences, or a relationship, alliance, system, or source of authority that reveals what it was really built on. The Tower is always shocking to the people who were invested in pretending that the cracks were not there, but to the ones who were already feeling it, the Tower often brings that eerie feeling of, there it is, that's what I was sensing. And I want to say this carefully because it's not meant to create fear, but on the collective level, this Tower feels connected to the places where power, resources, conflict, money, and trust are already under pressure. It feels like the world stage is trying to keep certain things contained, but the energy is not fully containable. It feels like people in charge may want to maintain the appearance of control, but the Tower says that appearance is not the same thing as a foundation. This could be breaking news energy. It could be a sudden escalation or an exposure. It could be a financial or political shake or a public trust moment. It could also be a situation where people look at each other and say, okay, something's finally shifted. But Spirit keeps pulling me away from panic and back into truth. The Tower is not here because Spirit wants people afraid. The Tower is here because something false, weak, or dishonest can't keep asking people to build their lives around it. I'm also getting that some of you will feel this as your own private tower moment. Not necessarily a disaster, but a moment where truth becomes louder than your ability to avoid it. This could be the relationship that's not giving back, the job that isn't secure in the ways that you hoped, the friendship that only works when you make yourself smaller, or the belief system that used to comfort you now feels too thin to hold what you've lived through. The Tower is asking for honesty, brutal honesty sometimes, and it's not to punish you, but to free you from continuing to pour yourself into something that was never strong enough to hold you. Then the Star reversed follows, and this is where I feel the collective heart sink a little, because after the Tower, people want reassurance. They want the light. They want the immediate sign that everything is going to be okay. They want the beautiful spiritual confirmation that says, don't worry, the worst is over. Here's the healing, here's the miracle, and here's the proof. But the Star reverse says June may not give that proof right away. And the rest of this is going to feel heavy, but stay with me because this is not hopeless. The Star reverse is still the star. The light has not disappeared. The healing has not been canceled. And the blessing has not been removed. But I'll be honest, it may feel hidden behind exhaustion for a while, and it might feel like the sky is too cloudy to see what Spirit is doing next. This card feels like people being tired in a way that sleep doesn't fix, tired of crisis, of pretending not to be worried, of being told to stay hopeful by people who are not carrying what they're carrying. Tired of needing to be resilient every time another system fails, another price rises, another conflict escalates, another truth that comes out, or when another leader disappoints us with a promise that falls flat. The Star reverse feels like the collective whispering, I still believe, but I am so tired. And love, Spirit is meeting that with compassion, not judgment or shame. And not some fake love and light BS message that tells people to just raise their vibrations and ignore everything that's happening. This is Spirit acknowledging that hope can get tired too. But there's also guidance here. When hope is tired, you protect it. You don't throw it into the mouth of every headline. And you don't hand it to every person with a microphone or a platform. You don't leave it unguarded in the comment sections, arguments, fear spirals, or doom scrolling at 2 in the morning. In June, hope may need to become smaller and more sacred. Not gone, just protected. And for you, it might look like making sure that your home feels peaceful, even if the world feels loud. It may look like checking in on someone you love instead of refreshing the news again. Or it could look like admitting that you're scared without letting the fear become your God. It could also look like lighting the candle, saying the prayer, turning off your phone, drinking water, making your favorite meal, and paying attention to what is still alive and thriving. The Star reversed card is Spirit saying, do not demand that hope perform for you right now. Instead, tend to it. And then the Six of Pentacles reverse closes the spread. And this is where the message lands in the body, because this card shows why the collective is so exhausted. It's because the balance is off. This is not just about money, but money absolutely is a part of it. This is about the flow of support, who receives it, who is denied it, who has to beg for it, who gets it automatically, who is expected to give endlessly, and who's allowed to take without accountability. The Six of Pentacles upright is the hand reaching down to help. It's the exchange, the support, and a reminder that resources can move in a way that restore dignity. But reversed, that hand does not feel clean. It feels conditional, delayed, uneven, and controlled. It feels like help exists, but not always for the people who need it the most. It feels like the scales are tilted, and everyone can see it, but the people benefiting from the tilt keep acting confused. This feels like ordinary people being asked to absorb the cost of decisions made far above them. It feels like people being told to tighten their belts while others are protected from consequences. Like those with the least being asked to prove that they deserve help, while those with the most are treated as too important to fail. And in our personal lives, this card is going to hit hard too, because June has the energy that people will be shown where they've been overgiving to things and to people that don't pour back, like overgiving to family members who assume they will always be available, overgiving to friends who only call when they need to unload, overgiving to work that keeps taking more and calling it loyalty, overgiving to platforms, causes, relationships, or routines that consume their spirit but never replenish it. Spirit is saying that some of you are not tired because you're weak. You're tired because the exchange has been unfair for way too long, and June will make that undeniable. This is the month where some people may finally say, I can't keep carrying this the same way. And it's not going to be from cruelty or from selfishness, but from truth, survival, and finally realizing that pouring from an empty cup is not devotion, it's depletion. So when I pull all of these cards together, the message Spirit is bringing through for June 2026 is this. The collective is entering a month where false stability gets tested, where the image of control may not be enough to cover the cracks, where unity that was never truly rooted may start to fracture, where something unstable may hit a tower point and reveal the truth more clearly, where hope may feel dim for a moment, and it's not because it's gone, but because everyone is tired, and where imbalance of who gives, who receives, who sacrifices, who is protected, and who is left exposed becomes way too obvious to ignore. Beloved, Spirit is not leaving this as a fear message. Spirit is saying, prepare by becoming honest. Be honest about what is not stable, about who is not safe. Be honest about where you are overgiving, about which voices make you feel grounded and which ones feed your fear. Be honest about where your hope needs tending instead of constant testing. June doesn't feel soft love, but it does feel revealing. And sometimes the month that reveals the cracks is also the month that stops you from building your whole life on top of it. So to summarize, Spirit is showing that June 2026 will be a month where the collective will no longer be able to ignore the differences between what looks stable and what's actually stable. The King of Pentacles reverse shows false security, shaky leadership, financial pressure, and structures that may be more fragile than they appear. The Three of Cups reverse shows fractured unity, false alliances, social division, and people realizing that not every community, group, or public voice is truly rooted in care. The Tower in the center suggests a breaking point. This could be exposure, disruption, or a truth that makes the cracks impossible to deny. The Star reverse shows the emotional aftermath, where hope may feel tired, dimmed, or depleted, but not gone. And the Six of Pentacles reverse reveals the deeper wound underneath all of it, the imbalance of who's carrying the cost and who's being protected from it. Spirit is not telling the collective to panic. Instead, they're asking us to pay attention. June may show us what can no longer be trusted blindly, what can no longer be held together by performance. and where we need to reclaim our energy, resources, and discernment. Spirit's message is not that everything's falling apart. The message is something false may stop being able to pretend that it's solid. And once that truth is visible, the collective will have the chance to stop building around the lie. Before we close, love, take a breath and come back to yourself for a second. Whatever this reading brought up for you, let it settle gently. You don't have to carry everything all at once, and you don't have to figure out every answer today. Let me know in the comments if anything in this reading resonated, what you've been sensing, and what questions you'd like me to bring to Spirit in a future session. I read everything you write, and I truly love connecting with you there. And as always, this reading was for spiritual insight, reflection, and entertainment purposes only. Everything shared is spirit-led, alleged, and based on the energy coming through the cards. And keep in mind that energy can shift, timelines can change, and that free will is always playing a role. Make sure that you always trust your own intuition, take what resonates, and leave what doesn't. And if you ever feel called to look more deeply into your own personal energy or questions, I offer private tarot and pendulum readings through my Etsy shop. You'll find the link in the pinned comment below and in the video description. Love, may whatever feels heavy in your spirit find a little more room to breathe, and may the light find you exactly where you are. Thank you for watching. I love you, I appreciate you, and I'll meet you in the comments.